So you want to be a guest on a podcast, you just don't know the best place to go find podcasts to potentially be on. Well, if you've ever had that conversation with yourself, you're in the right place, because I'm going to show you a quick trick and tip on how to leverage LinkedIn to find potential podcasts that you can be a guest on. Let's get started. I'm Sebastian Rusk, and I help marketers and entrepreneurs start a podcast. And real quick, while we're talking about LinkedIn, if you're not currently active on LinkedIn, I strongly encourage you to get in there and resuscitate your profile and start connecting with new people. It's an extremely powerful platform. And for purposes of this video, I'm going to show you how to leverage it to identify podcasts that you could potentially be a guest on. But if you're not active on LinkedIn right now, you most definitely should be. Let's get down to it. Going over to LinkedIn.com. If you haven't logged in quite some time, I strongly encourage that you do that. And before I show you the quick trick and tip on what you can do to identify podcasts, let's just go over to your profile real quick. In this case, it's my profile. We want to make sure in this little paragraph under your name, it's got every single thing that you do that's relevant, so that if people are searching for this specific thing or they come to your profile, it's very, very clear what you do. If you look at my cover photo, it says start a podcast today. It points directly to the message button when people are viewing it, and directly under my name spells out exactly what I do. And if you scroll down a little bit, you can check out my about section, which gives you all of my links and calls to action and the opportunity to schedule a call. So just a quick side note, you want to make sure all of this is up to snuff, because when you're asking potential podcasts if you can be a guest on their show, they're going to want to know that you are the authority in your space. Your LinkedIn profile is the voice to be able to do that for people that you have connected with and have not connected with yet. All right, so let's go back over to the newsfeed. I'm going to go up in the search bar. This is how you find podcasts that you could potentially be a guest on. And you search podcast host. And you're going to search for that under people. That's your first. Okay, so we got podcast host, podcast host. I don't know this individual. Connect. You also want to make sure that you take a look at their profile. That's going to send them a message letting them know, like I've got a pending invite here on Bill's profile, but I can still read about Bill. I can still see all of his content. I'm just not connected with him yet, but he's going to get a message that I checked out his profile just now. So once I'm connected with him, I can just send him a quick message. So in addition to people, you can search all. It's going to give you a list of see all people results. It's going to give you a list of all the people that you are not connected with and connected with. You can also search by first and second connection. That means you're connected to them or you're connected to someone that is connected to them. So you can filter, just play around with the search filters, but you just go through and take a look at what the podcast is all about. Can you speak intelligently about what you do on that podcast? And is it a fit? Connect with the individual. And before you pitch them, you want to at least introduce yourself and say hello. It's great to be connected to you. Complimenting people is always a plus. And then you can ask a simple question. Samantha, I don't know if you're open to new guests or what the show schedule looks like, but I would love to speak on the topic of fill in the blank. And make sure that it's a fit for the type of show that you're asking. But first things first, get in, build some rapport with people. You can use this search bar up here, podcast host. You can also search podcaster. That may be a title. See, there's several here. And you just connect with people. Once you're connected with them, you send them a message. You warm things up. Think about it like a cocktail party or a networking event. You're not going to walk into that networking event, start shoving business cards in people's faces. You're going to walk in. You're going to get a lay of the room, maybe grab a beverage, see if there's anybody that you know. If not, you start meeting new people. And if you're lucky, at the end of the networking event, you walk away with some new business cards, connections, LinkedIn connections, etc. So that's how you use a simple tip and trick to identify podcasts, existing podcasts, that you could potentially be a guest on. Well, I hope you're leaving this video knowing at least one or two things that you did not know about how to identify existing podcasts that you could potentially be a guest on. Remember, having your LinkedIn profile complete and up to date, that means not the headshot from 10 years ago, up to date with what you do, so people understand once they get to your profile, they're going to check you out, especially if you're asking them if they need guests for their show and if you can be on their show. Think about if you have a podcast, you're going to vet a potential guest out that you don't know. Great way to do that. Check out their profiles. Check out their LinkedIn profile. Look at their content. If you have any questions about this video or any other videos on this channel about LinkedIn, about making sure you're active, about finding opportunities to be a guest, etc., there's a few other videos on the channel here that I've done recently talking about some websites like Podmatch and Podbooker and Matchmaker.fm that allow you to find guests and find shows to be a guest on. So, any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. I do respond to each and every one of you lovely people. If you're looking to start a podcast, up to snuff, I'd love to have a conversation.